Hello and welcome to Written Words. I'm Helen and my last video was all about writing poems. In that video I wrote the beginnings of a poem and I explained the process as I went along so that anyone who would like to could join in with the process of writing a poem. And at the end of that video, I promised to go away and finish off my poem and then share it. So in this video, I'm going to share the poem that I wrote during the last video and then finished off afterwards, as well as some other poems by some much more well-known poets on the same theme. And that theme was the sky. So we're going to look at a selection of poems on the theme of the sky. And the various poems that I've chosen look at different aspects of the sky at night, the sky during the day, the colours of the sky, the things that the sky might symbolise, the sun, the moon, the stars, the clouds, all sorts of aspects of the sky. So I'm going to start with a poem that I have actually shared in a previous video when I looked at whether poetry should rhyme, because this particular poem doesn't rhyme. It is a very beautiful poem, and the thing that I love most about it is its message. It is When I Heard the Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman. And much as I love books and reading, what the poem is telling us is that from time to time we should perhaps look up from our books and our learning and just take time to be silent and enjoy a feeling of awe at the world around us, or in this case, beyond the world around us. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself, in the mystical, moist night air, and, from time to time, looked up in perfect silence at the stars. So in that one, the poet is inviting us to enjoy a moment of silence and look up at the stars. My next two poems are by the same poet. They're very short poems by Emily Dickinson, and I couldn't decide between the two, so I'll let you decide which one you prefer. And in these poems, she is very much concerned with the colour of the sky. So the first poem describes the various changing colours of the sky. A slash of blue, a sweep of grey, some scarlet patches on the way, compose an evening sky. A little purple slipped between, some ruby trousers hurried on, a wave of gold, a bank of day. This just makes out the morning sky. So not only is she talking about the colours of the sky, but she's talking about someone getting ready to go out, changing their clothes. A sweep of grey, a wave of gold suggests to me that they're styling their hair. The ruby trousers hurried on, and so on. And the other poem by Emily Dickinson is again about the colour. And she's talking in particular about the colour yellow, which she claims that nature saves especially for sunsets. Nature rarer uses yellow than another hue. Saves she all that for sunsets? Prodigal of blue, spending scarlet like a woman, yellow she affords only scantly and selectly, like a lover's words. My next poem is by a Russian poet, Mikhail Lermontov, and in this poem he is looking at the clouds in the sky and wondering what it is like to be a cloud. They're a kind of exile because they don't have a home, because they're always moving. So Here is my translation of Lermontov's Clouds. Heavenly clouds, eternal vagabonds, across the azure steppe like a string of pearls, as if exiles like me you scud along, from north to south around the world. Who is driving you, fate or decision? Some secret envy, blatant anger? Are you weighed down by some transgression, or by friends' malicious slander? No, barren fields are all you see. Passions and sufferings to you are unknown. Forever cold, forever free, you are no exile if you have no home. And moving back to another female poet, Katherine Mansfield, this poem goes back to the theme of colours in the sky. It's called Across the Red Sky. Across the red sky, two birds flying, flying with drooping wings, silent and solitary their ominous flight. All day the triumphant sun with yellow banners warred and warred with the earth, and when she yielded, stabbed her heart, gathered her blood in a chalice, spilling it over the evening sky. When the dark plumaged birds go flying, flying, quiet lies the earth, wrapped in her mournful shadow, her sightless eyes turned to the red sky and the restlessly seeking birds. I rather like that image of a chalice filled with blood being spilt over the evening sky as the sunset colours the sky red. A poem in a rather different mood now. This one very definitely rhymes. It's a little bit lighter in nature, and it's by Christina Rosetti. And she's comparing what happens down on earth to what happens up in the sky. Boats sail on the rivers, and ships sail on the seas, but clouds that sail across the sky are prettier far than these. There are bridges on the rivers, as pretty as you please, but the bow that bridges heaven and overtops the trees and builds a road from earth to sky is prettier far than these. And no selection of poetry would be complete without a little bit from Mr. Shakespeare himself. Shakespeare's works do cover a lot of themes, so if you're looking for something on a particular theme, chances are you'll be able to find something in Shakespeare. And of course, there is plenty of sky in Shakespeare's work. So I'm going to share sonnet number 7, which is about the sky and about the sun in particular. And in this sonnet, he is looking at the movement of the sun, how it comes up at dawn and it's at its highest point at noon in the middle of the day, and the rest of the day it spends coming back down again and fading and weakening in its strength until it's eventually extinguished at sunset. And he compares this to the life of a person. We are born at the dawn of our life, and the first half of our life we become stronger and stronger until we're at our peak at the noon of our life, in the middle of our life. And in the second half of our life we weaken, we fade, and we eventually die at our sunset. And the last line is rather sad, because he's saying that the only way that we will carry on after we have died is if we have children. Lo, in the Orient, when the gracious light lifts up his burning head, each under eye doth homage to his new appearing sight, serving with looks his sacred majesty, and having climbed the steep up heavenly hill, resembling strong youth in his middle age, yet mortal looks adore his beauty still, attending on his golden pilgrimage. But when from highmost pitch with weary car, like feeble age he reeleth from the day, the eyes, fore duteous, now converted are from his low tract, and look another way. So thou thyself, outgoing in thy noon, unlooked on diest, unless thou get a son. So, having shared all those wonderful poems from amazing poets, we now turn to my more modest offering that I wrote during my last video. When I'm writing, I like to write on loose sheets of paper so that I can scribble all over my first draft and then write out a second draft before I scribble all over that one and start again. So my poem ended up being 5 sheets of rather messy scribbles before I eventually transferred it to the computer. So I mentioned at the end of last video that some themes were starting to appear. It was starting to take the form of a letter. It was in the second person, so I was writing it as a letter using you to address the sky itself. But when I looked at my notes, I found 3 themes appearing, as if there were 3 aspects to the sky. The sky as an artist painting with lots of colours, the sky as a parent who protects us and nurtures us, and the sky as a friend. So my final poem is written as a letter to the sky, and it's in 3 clear sections. It doesn't rhyme fully. It has some light rhyme in it. I've tried to give it a certain amount of structure. The letter form helps with that, and it has a certain rhythm to it as well. There is some personification, of course, because I'm calling the sky an artist, a parent, and a friend. So here is Dear Sky. Dear Sky, you are an artist. Your brush is always moving on an ever-shifting canvas, painting with every kind of light and none. The rainbow that you wield opens a spectrum of hopes and aspirations, from pots of fire and darkest void, mixing and mingling brightness and shade. Your works are echoes, but each is unique. You are a parent, at sunset drawing the curtains of dark, turning on the night light of moon and stars, pulling across a quilt of clouds, that all might be safely slumber bound. You serve us morning and bathe us in dawn, a steadfast rooftop above our home. You are a friend, our best, most faithful, a listening ear, unjudging, dependable. We look up, while you look down, infinite above, over finite ground, watching, being, feeding our dreams, and we search for patterns in vaporous scenes. A companionship of common being, a friendship honed in mutual gazing. So, for better or worse, that's my version of the sky poem. Have you written a poem about the sky? If so, please feel free to share it. I'd be very interested to see what other people have come up with on that theme. If you haven't watched my previous workshop video and would like to, then there is a link to that in the description below. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and wherever you are in your poetry journey, whether that's reading or writing poetry or a bit of both, I hope you continue to enjoy that journey as much as I do. If poetry is your thing, there is on this channel a Poetry Corner playlist, so do feel free to explore what is on offer in there. Do watch this space for more videos to come on the English language and its literature, and literature from other languages translated into English. I have quite a selection of new videos in the planning. So once again, thank you very much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And in the meantime, happy reading and happy writing.